The following is the Legacy Africa Founders Journal. Entry 2. Originally written Friday, 30th of January 2026. Time unstated. At the time, I didn't know how the story would go, and this is what I wrote. Molo Oam. Ndim. Life is noisy. I think that's why this is the year I need you most. The pressure that I put myself under does no favors for my mental state and self-esteem. Feels like I'm dancing on the razor's edge, constantly on the brink of some sort of mental breakdown. Legacy Africa, formal education, peak physical conditioning, social media, family responsibility, navigating love, getting enough money to take another stab at a driver's license, finding you in me. It all seems a bit much sometimes. I know it's only been a month and I've made progress, but it doesn't feel like enough progress. And the truth is, I probably made more than a fair amount of progress, but there's so many things to do, so little time. Then I'm right back to obligation that drive progress, but also feel like the very things that are keeping me from doing the rest. I'm so busy making progress that I can't make more. I know exactly what you'd say. You can do all these things, just not all at once. What's the rush? External pressure, fear of being left behind, fear of not doing enough, fear of not being enough. I'm in an empty park fighting back tears as I write to you. So much to do, so much to be, so little time. But we're strong. We'll figure out a sequence that we're happy with and execute from there. 2-page limit. We'll talk again soon. The goal is weekly. That's what I wrote. Uh, at the time, as you heard, I was fighting back tears. Two definitions I want to go into today. One is the definition of, or the reason for, rather, two things I want to go into the reasons for. Sadness is a lack of like a perceived lack of options. So when you feel as if you lack options, you become sad. Anxiety comes from many options, no priorities. I feel as if at the time I was suffering from anxiety caused by having many options, many competing priorities, and not the ability or the courage to prioritize. Man, some of the things I want to touch on include, yeah, I really felt like I was on the verge of some sort of mental breakdown, like because I was constantly just overwhelmed by all the stuff that there was to do, and the fact that I was just being like shitty at all of them. Meaning, I wanted to be a great son, and that's that includes why I'm like, no, I have to do the driver's license. I include family responsibilities, um, because that's just a part of me being as useful as I can possibly be in the short term to my immediate surrounding, increasing my value within that. When I talk about the formal education again, I think of that as another thing that was for my immediate benefit to increase my perceived value to the people closest to me. For me, Legacy Africa, peak physical conditioning, social media, those are the things that I felt like if I pour my energy into these, today I'm gonna eat a lot of shit. Today I'm gonna catch a lot of flack, but I know that in the long term, in the medium to long term, these are the things that I'm gonna look back on and think, I'm glad that I got those. I focused on those and not necessarily got those done sooner, but I'm glad I built a sturdy foundation super early on as I possibly could, so that later on, when I do have the capital, it becomes like I can drive. I've been able to drive since I was 16. But going out there to formalize it, I tried multiple times. I realized that there may be more to the system than being able to drive, and as such, I've decided to pull back on that, or I decided to pull back on that from last year. And there have been opportunities since, but I would rather use my time, resources, capital, rather than sitting, um, you know, in those places, going through those motions once again, and sinking the time. Because yes, I can, but in order to really sharpen and hone my skills to the point where I would be happy and satisfied to go again, go test again. Mind you, I've been for context, I've been there more than 5 times. Truck broke down multiple times. There was a mismatch of fuel and this and that. There was times where I completed everything, completed parking's record time, drove around, came back, and then apparently there was a car that I didn't see. And so there are things out there, but I'm not here to blame the system or complain about whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever. So this is something that's going to need just the time, focus, dedication to kind of sink some money into that, and just be calm, cool, and collected, and understand that I'm here to sink money into this for as long as it takes, and I'm here to repeat as long as it takes, and do as long as it takes for me to succeed, because that's just the mentality that I have in everything, right? Okay. However, is that a priority for me right now? What is doing this now in the short term going to achieve for me? Well, I don't have the money to consistently be sinking into car payments, be consistently be sinking into um, fuel costs and stuff like that, because there would be opportunities that I would take that are not close or closer or as close to my geographical location as the opportunities that I do take now. And so, there are many, many things that would come as a result of that. More distractions as well, more options, more variety, more opportunity to do great, but also to mess up. And so I'm like, okay, that doesn't seem like something that is going anywhere for me personally. I can get around. I Uber around. I fuck it. You just do you get what I'm trying to say? Like it's possible. And so I was like, okay, that's certainly not something that I'm super prioritizing right now. Family responsibility is something that's really important to me, but there are certain immediate chores, responsibilities that are not my core responsibilities that I've just neglected as a whole, and I've completely shifted away from, because again, it saps from the energy that goes into the very important things. For myself personally, formal education at that time, and we're gonna get into this. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I didn't end up going that route. I ended up not going that route anymore, because again, I feel that being all in or not in it all is what I want to be, and is what I want to say that I was able to do or get out of myself, and is the point at which I would feel the most pride in myself. Is if I was able to make those hard calls. And yeah, peak physical condition. I mean, here we are, man. So it's finding that future self in me. And here's the thing. The thing is, all these things are super important. All these things move you forward as a person. All these things progress you. And so the easy stuff I'd already gotten rid of. Like, no partying, no hoes, like just the straight and narrow, no drinking, just really. I'd made all the easy cutoffs, and then the last one we talk about, I'd cut off my hair, and with it, I'd cut off all the things. I'd broken all the shackles that held me down. On this holy divine day, I hereby release all of the things that no longer serve my highest self. You know, I was listening to not passion fruit itself, but there's a rendition. There's a man on a piano, and he's singing very high pitched. That part that goes, "Listen, I'm seeing you got ritualistic, and I'm cleansing my soul of addiction for now because I'm falling apart." That part right there, that part right there. We talk about being on the verge of a mental break. I felt that, man. Like I'd go on late night drives, and I'm just playing that thing on loop, and it's just listen. I'm seeing you are ritualistic. I'm cleansing my soul of addiction for now, cause I'm falling apart. Yo, that part right there, yeah, that carried me, boy. That carried me through some times. That carried me through some times, and so. Just speaking to that as a result of having all these things that are all positive that I wanted to do. And I guess the real question was not necessarily um, what are good things to do with your time. The question was, what do I want to do with my time? And I knew the answer to that. It's just that um, I was not at the time willing to muster up the courage to go ahead and make the hard decisions that there would be pushback from the family. It would look I would look like an idiot for a very long time. And I look less like an idiot now because things are starting to pick up and starting to work, and I'm getting invited out to this, and like things are kind of moving forward in a way. I mean, I did make a video recently talking about cash poverty and what that's like, what it means to be cash poor versus asset rich, and how those things can coexist, how you can be building wealth and accumulating wealth very, very quickly, accumulating goodwill, very positive relationships with very powerful people, having all this opportunity created, a fantastic and talented team, having all those things, and on the balance sheet, your invoice, like your money, your receivable, being way higher than the money that you owe the market, and yet not having money to pay for basic expenses, is something that's very possible, and it's a reality that that I live with at times. Some days are better than others, some months are better than others. And I was talking about potential ways to fix that and things to focus on, in future. Um, and all of that comes as a result of having chosen, having focused, um, and having made the tough decisions of cutting off futures that would have been much more comfortable. It would have been much more comfortable to choose the formal education route. The family would have been like in a much better spirits to sponsor that type of an effort. I would have received much more support going that way, much more support from peers because I'm doing what everyone else is doing. But I don't want what everyone else has, and therefore I must not do what everyone else is going to do. And when you do that, you isolate yourself, and you can be ostracized. You very often are. And that's just the reality of the game that you have to accept. And so it takes courage. It takes courage, and the courage was a part of what I was beginning to muster up, or rather I think the tearing up and the choking up, which I'll get to now. Um, you talk about that external pressure, the fear of being left behind, fear of not doing enough, fear of not being enough. The fear of not being enough comes from there are all these great things that I want to be, realizing that I will never be all of those things at the same time. And if I try to be everything to everyone, I will not be able to be myself. If I try to be good at all these things, I will be very mediocre at all of these things. And I won't be excellent in any of these fields because I just haven't put in the time that warrants excellence. So I had some very hard decisions to make. That's what put the pressure on. Is if there are all these things and they're all good, then and you don't have the time, the bandwidth, the resources to do all of them, then how can you ever be enough? How can you ever be good enough? How can you ever get to a position where you have done enough if you can't do all these things in one lifetime and be excellent at the same time while still maintaining this and that? It's a lot of competing priorities that are good things. And there, it's one of those ones where you realize there are positions in life where there is no correct answer. There's just what you feel is right for you at that moment in time. And having things like this that crystallize or solidify the decisions you were making, the frameworks you were running through, and that ability to look back and see in very real time, like in granular, like you see the wrinkles, you see the details of, oh, this is why I chose to live my life in that way, because this is how I was feeling at that time. And so from a shifting perspective, I did say, but we're strong. We'll figure out a sequence, etc. And so again, spoiler alert as to what follows. But you'll there's again the broader strokes of the story. I'm sure you can see from this, if you watch my stuff, you can see from my Instagram, if you follow me on that or any of my other social media platforms, you're like, oh, okay, so this happened, this happened, this happened, and this happened. But here you get to experience the wrinkles, the more granular detail of what was kind of going on during the process. And like I'm right now 6 months ahead, 7 months ahead of where I was when I wrote this, and so I do have the ability to like reflect. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to bring as well. Is as I was in that empty park, shedding the tears, is because of all the pressure, because of the many competing priorities, and having to kind of make the decision that was right for me at that time. And what I realized is, especially when it comes to the work, feeling like, no man, I'm working all my waking hours to the point where it's detrimental to some of my personal relationships, to the point where it's detrimental to my ability to show up in the gym, because it's detrimental to so many things. But I'm still not moving forward as rapidly as I may be used to, because again, when you're starting, you're going from zero, so anything will be exponential. When you've really configured your life in a way where you are massively productive with all of your time, and you still don't move at a certain pace, you get that moment of, whoa, what's actually going on? Why am I not progressing as quickly as I know I could and probably should be? And it's in those moments that you realize that, oh, I need a team. I need a good team. I need multiple teams. I need departments. Oh, businesses require other people to do other functions in order for you to move forward. And so it's less a thing of, oh, I now have enough revenue that I feel that I can safely begin to onboard and whatever. It's like, no, certain things need to happen within the business in order for the business to move forward. You need certain functions to occur in order to increase your leverage over time. And knowing and understanding business, and consistently learning to the level that I am, you know more than you probably should at a certain stage, and so you try to do more than you probably should at a certain stage, and being able to not just prioritize but sequence those things, and then being able to recruit people to fulfill those functions while you're simultaneously doing your thing, is what unlocks the next levels of leverage that allow you to move even faster and move at the pace that you want to be moving at, and that you know that you're capable of, and that that'll be the best use of your time, their time, everyone's time. And so, yeah, a lesson that I know now that I didn't know then is leverage, and not just what it means, but applying leverage consistently and continuously trying to grow the relationships that allow you to have more leverage within your personal life, within your professional life. Um, was something very, very important, that has shifted me from the person in the park who's fighting back tears, writing in this journal, to the founder I am now, who continues to evolve. Yeah, figure out a sequence that we're happy with. Meaning, I knew even at that time, like, okay, I can't do everything at once. Something has to give, something has to go in the short and medium term in order for me to focus on something else. And then I prioritize based on that, which is what do I believe require, what do I believe that if I poured myself into now, would give me the most bang for buck now. And then when this is set, stable, steady, and I'm receiving the results of the work that I will be putting in for the next 6 months to a year, at the end of that process, what is going to put me in a position to just knock off the rest of the things on this list as easy side wins? What is going to move me closer to my goals, and what is not going to move me closer to my goals at all? So for me personally, I can't tell you what's going to work for you, but I can tell you what worked for me. For me personally, focusing on legacy, focusing on my training, focusing on social media have allowed me to move closer to my goals. Not, this is a documentary, not a sermon. I'm not preaching anything to anyone. Me, closer to my goals, being able to expand my reach using the socials, getting better at that, tweaking that, something that I found very fulfilling, rewarding. Building Legacy Africa, building teams, servicing people, kind of figuring out, the some of the tough lessons that I'm having to learn now at this young age. That is very fulfilling for me. And being in peak physical conditioning and continuing to kind of elevate my physique and whatnot, allow me to stay mentally in the right space, allow me to, have something else to hold on to sometimes when those first two things aren't really going that well. I'm like, hey, at least I can show up and I can train and I can, stack one more day, stack one more win, and live to see it. And remember in that moment that I'm an ape on a blue marble in an ever expanding universe, and that I'm alive and I may yet live to see another day, regardless of the result of this deal, of that deal, of this vendor, of this person either coming to be employed or not, or realizing that you're going to live to see another one. Um, yeah, I could talk to you forever, but let's cut it there. As I so graciously ended the last one, man. Many twists and turns and characters get introduced in the stories from here. Names will obviously be omitted for for legal reasons, I think. um, but yeah, there's definitely so much more to tell, man. Yeah, from that, I will definitely say I learned a lot about pressure, understanding pressure, handling pressure, and prioritization. I learned a lot about delegation and the need for it. Um, I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about myself, and I'm in a much better place now as a result of it. And so, yeah, that was entry two, Founders Journal. This will be an ongoing series, and yeah, so long as I have life to live, there will be more journals and more journal entries to learn from. And so, um, thank you for joining me on this journey, man. Thank you for co-learning, learning with me. I really don't feel like I'm in a position where I'm teaching anyone anything, bro. I'm just learning and I'm sharing my observations and I'm sharing my learnings. And if it helps you, then it fills my heart. It fulfills me. Um, if you want a free thing, I haven't figured out what free thing that I'm going to give yet, but I always consistently with clients, the first thing I do is want to give to them first. And so if you want a free thing, comment free thing, and I'm gonna give you a free thing. Whether it's a PDF of a framework on how to make decisions. Maybe not from me, from like Naval Ravikant or something, or the Hormozy guide to this, or one of those things. I'll figure out what to do. Or comment below what free things you think would be useful to you in terms of like educational tools, digital tools, maybe books, PDFs, whatever that I could spin up, make for you guys, and send it to you. If you have a free thing in mind that you would like to have, um, comment free thing. Comment free thing, and we're gonna go back and forth in the comment section. All right, or you can DM me at omsageoy on Instagram, and we can go back and forth. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate you. If you did in fact enjoy the video, please hit the subscribe button. If you're a marketer, you do marketing related discipline, photography, videography, web design, graphic design, Legacy Africa. If you're in Port Elizabeth, we're changing the world from this place, from this state. Go on the ride with us, go on the journey with us. We're about to do some really, really awesome stuff. Um, Thank you for watching. I have been Sage, standing on business. Signing out.